All right, today I wanted to go over a couple examples of expanding and condensing with some more advanced log statements. So this first one, you'll notice we're doing log base 7. We have an x to the fourth multiplied by a square root of y, and the whole thing is being divided by a z to the third power. So the first thing we want to do is separate all of the multiplication and division. So we're going to do log base 7 of x to the fourth, and then the square root of y is being multiplied to it, and when we expand it, that becomes addition. So we're adding log of the square root of y, base 7. We are then subtracting, since it's dividing by z cubed, we're going to subtract log base 7 of z cubed. Then we just need to deal with the powers, and powers get moved to the front and multiplied to our log statement. So our 4 here is going to get moved to the front. Our square root, which is really a 1/2 power, is going to get moved to the front of that piece, and our cube here is going to get moved to the front of that. So we're going to end up with 4 times log base 7 of x plus the square root becomes the 1/2 power, so 1/2 log base 7 of y minus 3 log base 7 of z. All right, let's look at another one here. This time we have a log base 4, we have a y to the third power, we have a cube root of x to the fifth, those two pieces being multiplied on top, and then in the denominator we have a z squared being multiplied to a w. So I'm going to split up the division first. So I'm going to write this as log base 4 of y to the third and the cube root of x to the fifth minus log base 4 of z squared times w. Then I'm going to pull apart the multiplication. So we have multiplication here and we have multiplication here. Be careful on this second one that we're going to put some parentheses around that because we are subtracting that whole chunk. All right, so pulling this apart, we have log base 4 of y to the third plus log base 4 of the cube root of x to the fifth minus log base 4 of z squared, and we're minusing because that negative here gets distributed to both parts, so we're minusing log base 4 of w. And then our last step is to take any powers and move them to the front. So here we have a 3 that's going to get moved to the front. Here we have a power, we'll talk about that in a second, that's getting moved to the front, and same thing there. So we end up with 3 log base 4 of y plus, now this cube root of x to the fifth, we can think of that as x to the 5/3 power. So we're going to have a 5/3 power that gets moved to the front of that little piece, so log base 4 of x. We had a square here, so minus 2 log base 4 of z. And then we didn't have any power on this last one, so it's going to stay log base 4 of w. All right, one more to try. You can pause this video and try it on your own and then check back in. Pulling this apart, we would have log, and there's no base written, so it's just common log, base 10, log of z to the fifth minus the log of the cube root of x squared times y. And then we're going to pull apart all of this. So we have log of z to the fifth minus log of the cube root of x squared minus the log of y. And now we'll move our powers to the front. So we're going to have 5 log, common log of z, log base 10, minus, here we have a power of 2 and a root of 3, so our power would be a 2/3. So 2/3 log of x. And here we didn't have any powers to move, so we just have common log of y. All right, let's look at a couple where we are condensing instead. So here we're going to put everything back together. Notice that there are numbers in front like this 1/3 that is a power, and because of the parentheses here, it's a power of all of that. So we're going to condense inside the parentheses first. So we're still going to have that 1/3 out front. Inside here, I see a power that I have to put back. So I have the log of x minus the log of y squared. Then the minus here is going to condense into division. So I have 1/3 the log, again it's a common log since there's no base, of x divided by y squared. And then I can put that 1/3 back. It becomes a power again, which would be a cube root. So when I put that back as a power, we're going to have the log base 10 of the cube root of x divided by y squared. All right, let's try another one here. We have a lot of pieces in this one. Let's take inside parentheses first. So I will start with this chunk right here. We have log base 2 of x plus log base 2 of x minus 2. When I condense that, it's going to turn into multiplication. So we have log base 2 of x times x minus 2. On our next piece here, we have a -4 log base 2 of x squared minus 4. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put powers back in now. So my power here, my cube, is actually going to go back around all of this. My 4 is going to go back for that one. So I have log base 2 of x cubed and x minus 2 quantity cubed minus log base 2. Let's try to fix that here. Of x squared minus 4, and now that is to the 4th power. All right, we can condense that again. Our subtraction is going to condense into log base 2. We're going to have an x cubed. We're going to have an x minus 2 cubed. We are dividing by an x squared minus 4 to the 4th power. Now this can be simplified a little bit. I want you to go ahead and pause the video and get the denominator factored. All right, hopefully you tried that. We're going to go ahead and factor this, so we end up with log base 2. We have an x cubed, an x minus 2 cubed, and then the denominator, the x squared minus 4 factors into x plus 2, x minus 2, and both of those would have a 4th power on them. All right, and then notice right here we have some x minus 2's. We can simplify those. So our final answer is going to be log base 2. We'll have an x cubed in the numerator. 3 of these x minus 2's are going to drop out. So our denominator will have an x plus 2 to the 4th, but only an x minus 2 to the 1st power, since 3 of those were able to be canceled out. All right, our last one. Notice that we have some powers. We can put those back in. So we will have common log of m cubed minus the log of n, common log of n, plus common log of p squared. And then we can condense that. Subtraction, when we condense it, becomes division. So our m cubed will be divided by an n. But because it's addition for the p squared piece, that gets multiplied in. All right, hope this helps with some of those more complicated ones.